Good afternoon. So today, once again, I am making one of my favorite Iranian dishes of all time. My favorite Iranian dish of all time, which is called Fesenjoon, or more formally Fesenjan, which is basically a pomegranate walnut stew. I have made this stew dozens of times. I even gave it to some of my boomer friends. This is Fesenjoon with rice.
Oh, Fesenjoon?
Pomegranate walnut stew.
Festival in June.
That's delicious.
That's delicious.
Delicious.
That's really good.
Quite the chef.
See,
Cheers.
old white people have taste.
These boomer friends of mine that I gave it to and tried it were so excited that they seemed like they were about to buy another house for $70,000, while the rest of the millennials and Gen Z struggle to afford to be alive. One of my friends even calls this dish, which is called Fesenjoon, once again. He calls it Festival in June.
Festival in June.
Which is quite surprising because it's now September, and frankly, in the greater Phoenix area, there are no festivals in June because it is way too hot to have a festival outside. All right, so here I've got 5 cups of walnuts, and what I'm going to do is grind these walnuts using this Ninja blender that I have, and that's the starting point for making Fesenjoon. Just a fun fact, but if you grind these walnuts long enough, probably for over 20 minutes or so, you can make walnut butter with just one ingredient. That would taste pretty good on your toast. That is fantastic. And there you have it, my grinded walnuts, 5 cups of walnuts grinded using a Ninja blender. So we're going to put the grinded walnuts aside for a second, and we're going to take 2 big onions, chop these up, and go from there. And there you have it, 2 onions chopped up. All right, so now I've got this pot over here that we're going to use to cook the Fesenjoon in. And to this pot, I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And we're going to add these chopped up onions and cook them a bit until they become translucent. That looks pretty good. So now we're going to add about 6 cups of water. Now keep in mind, you can also add 6 cups of vegetable broth if you're a vegetarian like myself, or you could do 6 cups of chicken broth, but we're doing 6 cups of water here. And there you go. Now we're going to bring this to a boil. Wait until it boils. All right, so this is boiling now. So we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of pomegranate molasses. By the way, pomegranate molasses tastes great on ice cream. Here we got Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream topped with grinded pistachio and pomegranate molasses, and also many other things. Or you can just take your finger like this Oh my God. You gotta taste it to believe it. Mix that up. Next, we're gonna add about 6 tablespoons of honey. Make it nice and sweet. It's sweet and sour at the same time. There you go. 6 tablespoons of honey. Then we want to add some turmeric, some salt, and some cinnamon. Some nutmeg. A little bit of pepper. And lastly, we want to add the walnuts. Now we just have to let this cook. That's how easy it is. And the longer it cooks, the thicker it becomes. So it's really up to you in terms of how long you want to cook it for, but you probably want to do at least a good 30 minutes or so. And when it sits in the fridge, the next day or the following day, it becomes even thicker. So leftovers when it comes to Fesenjoon are the best. Nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to Fesenjoon leftovers. They become thicker and tastier as they sit in the fridge. Alright, so this has been cooking for about 45 minutes on about medium heat. It looks pretty good, but like I said before, the longer it cooks and sits, the thicker it gets. Right now, I would say it's not thick enough, but I'm going to enjoy some anyway. I'll probably let it cook for a few more hours afterwards, but it looks pretty good, and I tasted it. It tastes pretty good. So I'm going to take this rice, mountain of rice, or tahdig with a hard crust, and I'm going to put this Fesenjoon on top. Oh yes. Oh yes. It looks like diarrhea, but it tastes pretty good. And there you have it, Fesenjoon on top of a mountain of rice. Vegetarian Fesenjoon, that is.